Hey guys, today I'm gonna just do some shower thoughts, like things I've been thinking about while watching videos. If you like it, subscribe, and if you have like an answer or something, I don't know, maybe you should put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. First off, how would a whip work in space? Because I was watching this video about like how chains worked in space and how since there's like no like tense tense strength in it, it'll just flow around like how we think a rope would. But a rope, it actually stays in place for some reason. But I want to know how a whip would work in space. Do we think a whip would even move correctly? Do we think it'd move better um since there's no since there's no like air resistance or gravity, so you can just sort of fling it around and whip it back without like maybe it'd work like one of those trebuchet things, like because that's how it works. There's the counterweight, but since there's no gravity, it's not gonna have like any sort of tense parts on like any of the whips, so you could just hit it as hard as you can, and it would sort of just go with it because there's nothing like I don't know. Someone needs to test that because it seems like a good question. Also, I don't think there'd be a sonic boom because isn't the sonic boom from like the air around it, and it's like, oh, I go super fast. The air around me is gonna like crack now. Yeah, but that's the first one. Second one is like, how did we figure out how to build the periods? And I mean pyramids. And I know it's like, oh yeah, they used the ramps and sections and stuff, but like it was so old. They didn't even have like how do you figure something out without having any prior knowledge on it? Because I know that's like have you ever seen that Deadpool comic book where he like kills all of the superheroes because he kills like the original ones? It's like that. How do you make something original? Because it shouldn't be possible because we learn from things. And there's nothing to like mimic um computers in real life. That's a terrible example because like we've been really technologically advanced. There's nothing to like reference giant pyramids in ancient Egypt. Like, oh, we just thought about this. We found a way to make this work and we did it in 50 years and it's still standing like thousands of years later. That's crazy. Or like the wheel. I don't know who invented the wheel, but it's just, oh yeah, I realized that, you know, wheels are like something round will roll. Like, that's also a bad example. I guess most of the human inventions involve like intuition and stuff, but then how do you explain, the pyramids? How do you explain? Because, like, if I was in the world 100,000 years ago or whatever, I wouldn't be thinking about why 100,000 years is probably way too long, but I wouldn't be thinking about making an Acropolis like that thing in Greece. I would be thinking about how to survive. I guess like the first point in human history where invention really happened, you had to like be successful enough to survive, because then you have like an idle mind at work and you can like basically think about stuff like philosophers. You didn't see like cavemen philosophers. You saw them in ancient Greece, like you saw them in the best of the best places. Given they were still like homeless, but it's if you were like thinking about philosophy and the times of cavemen, then yeah, you were just gonna die because you didn't have time to think about that. So I guess I just answered my own question. We thought about inventions, one off of intuition, two off of, you know, we just became successful enough to survive and we had, an idle way to put our mind at work. And then three, just people asking questions basically and people learning from the past. Yeah, but I still don't understand how we thought of like I don't think they're triangle. I guess mountains aren't really triangles either. They're like cones. Or I don't even know. Like, did they just decide mountains were the best? Like, they basically thought of a mountain and they made it themselves. I can't underestimate how, like, I don't even think, are there mountains where they were? I guess, yeah, because I don't know their geography, but there probably was at least one mountain. They were like, yep, that's it. I need that. Um, Third, why don't we make, um, more different games? Why don't we make, like, objectively different games? Like, everyone loved 2020 because of, like, you got to sit at home and play video games all day. I hated it because there was, like, no different games. That's why everyone liked Among Us so much because you were stuck at home. You got to do, like, one Zoom call a day and talk to people because they had, like, everyone on lockdown. Like, if you didn't have a phone to talk to people, there was nothing you could do. So that's why everyone liked Among Us. It was like a breath of fresh air to finally have a way to, communicate with people. It was a different game. Like, it was just shooter games. Like, Among Us, the reason people liked it is because it was different. Why do you think we see so many clones of Among Us now? They want to copy the success. Look at, like, Party Animals. It's a copy of Gang Beasts, and it has an Among Us copy. And yeah, and this is no shade on Party Animals, but it's basically what it is. But it has voice chat. It has a way to communicate to people. Um, that's why I think there should be games that are like, I don't know, just different. They should have different games. I know how to describe it. But I think that's it. You might, if you want to comment down below and answer any of these questions, like how whip would work in actually I think I can come up with more. Yeah, is math like a discovery or is it like an invention? Because like people say math exists all around us. So like, do we think math is discovered or do we think it's invented? Because like, yeah, I think it's invented. I think math is like our reading of the world. It's how we understand it, but like you don't see and like yeah, math we made math, I think. It's just that it's just so applicable because we made it to be applicable. Like we made math to well actually I don't think like the Athens made math so they could understand how a black hole worked. I think they made it probably for like their money. Again, like how did we make math? That's just crazy. I think science is a discovery. I don't think science is an invention. I think it's a discovery. Um, because, you know, chemistry, stuff like that. That's like science doesn't have you say, well, I guess science is a way for inventions, but it's not an invention in itself. Because, like, I don't really know how to explain it. But, anyways, yeah. I think, yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else. So, bye.